What's up, everyone? It's Zack Clayton, and I'm pumped to introduce you to my brand new podcast, Prestige Access. It's not just about getting in shape. It's about leveling up in every area of your life, physically, mentally, financially, and your overall well-being. So if you're ready to take control of your life, break through mental and physical barriers, and push your limits and build the life you want, come subscribe with us. Find Prestige Access on iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts. Let's get to work. Let's get to work. Let's get to work. Let's get to work. What's up, guys? Zack Clayton here. Welcome to Prestige Access. I'm excited to launch this project. It's really been a long time coming for me, kind of get my voice and knowledge out there in the health and fitness space, number one, but two, also just overall well-being, which is something I've always believed in my life, my entire life, since I was 11 years old when I first started working out. Most of you know me from professional wrestling, but also some of you have probably seen me on MTV, Jersey Shore, with my fiance, Jenny. But a lot of people don't know about me is that I've been an athletic coach majority of my life, training 8-year-olds all the way to 85-year-olds. So the purpose of this podcast, Prestige Access, is to provide some insight to that and get a little bit knowledge out there in a world that could use a little bit of help now, I think. So to do that, I have my friends here that are also going to help me with this show. One of them is Producer Powers over here. Mr. Mike, what's up, dude? And then we've got Producer Ty over there directing everything for us. And overall, we're looking for this just to be information to help people become them best selves. You know?
And I'm riding those coattails. Like, I definitely need, I'm going to share my health journey throughout the process anytime you need me to chime in. But man, I'm looking forward to, I did not start working out when I was 8, and I barely tried to do it. I utilized my blue eyes as a kid to not have to have a six-pack and stuff like that. So
yeah, well, the eyes worked. I mean, they got you a lot, but they work.
But in all seriousness, I can't wait to share my health journey and share our listeners' health journey with you. So I will be active in our DMs, our messages, emails to our podcast, and trying to get the voices of your listeners out and your experience to share with them.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I've developed an audience and a little bit of a platform. I don't think I'm anything super crazy, and I'm never going to think that about myself. I just never have. But the purpose I feel in life, if you have a platform, and I think this about everybody in any field, no matter what you do, if you have a platform, I think you need to use it for good to help people. Because obviously there's a lot of people that need help, but second to that, you do have a voice, so you should be using it for good.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people use it to tear other people down and cause trouble. And I've never been like that. I hate drama. I hate negativity. I hate excuses. I think everybody can do more and be better. And with this podcast, hopefully we can provide some insight with experts and people that know what they're talking about, not misinformation, not fake news, not any of this stuff that's running rampant right now in 2025, and use this platform and our platforms for good. That's the goal here.
Amen. I'm excited for this. When we first started talking, that was one of the things. It was true organic willingness to help people on your social videos. And I was like, man, I like everything. You can make somebody want to run through a wall. And I know you've been doing it your whole life. How did that journey start? And where do you see it going?
Well, that's the whole thing, man. I mean, so I started when I was 11 working out, like with weights. And most people are going to say, you can't do that. You're going to stunt your growth. You're going to get hurt and all this stuff. And, maybe you will get hurt, and that might be true. But I started doing it because I wanted to be a wrestler. And I would see these guys on TV that I wanted to be like. And it's like, they're all big and jacked. So let's start there. Like, I can control that. I can't control that I'm not a wrestler yet, but I can control how I look. And if those people are that to be that, then that's what I have to do. So I started there. I was graduating 5th grade, and I asked for a bench press, like legitimately. And I got it. And I started working out, man, in the garage. And my motivation was the guys I was watching on television. So that motivated me to also want to help other people, like my friends and people I went to school with, because if somebody could do that to me, then that means I can do that to somebody else. And I learned that message young. I don't know why, but that kind of just stuck with me my whole life. And from a very young age, I mean, I was 18 years old. I was a personal trainer. I was training, the average everyday weekend warrior. And then I had some athletes that came in. They weren't professional, but they were high school and college athletes. And I started working with them. And I loved it. I fell in love with helping people get better and achieve goals. And as I kind of leveled up in my career with wrestling, I would take people to workouts with me and under my wing and just helping them get better with things that I knew that they may have not known at that time. And that's just, I've always been a coach. I've always wanted to coach and make people better. And back to the point of having now a platform where I could do that, it's fulfilling and it's a good purpose, but the real reason is not those things. It's just, I want to do it. And I guess that is the reason. I don't really know why, but I guess that is why, to be, have an impact on people's lives. So the purpose with this is like, how can we do that while giving back, not just knowledge and information, but like I'm doing now with Prestige Health Systems. It's like, I'm giving away things for free. Like today, we just launched the 90-Day Committed Challenge. It's totally free. And what we're doing there is, here's some information. Everybody knows that you can pay for information, but if you're not going to do that, come get free information, because that's another way I can extend the branch to even more people who might not be able to pay, right? So come join us for 90 days and get in the best shape of your life. And you're going to win some prizes. And you're going to win free coaching. And you're going to win this and that. And you're going to come join the communities and be around like-minded people with the same goals, the same aspirations, the same mission in life. And that's going to help you get better. So it's about creating that infrastructure. And this is going to be another way that I can do that.
So I love the 8 to 85 because it really just shows like, yeah, granted, you at 8, you're asking for a bench press. Yeah. I'm asking for Domino's pizza, right? So like there are differences, but like, then I think that's where I could help complement some of this stuff. So I will overshare some of my health journeys when you ask me to, but also try to get as much as our listeners' engagement. With that said, what could a listener expect and our followers expect daily from this podcast?
Well, you can expect, we're going to bring on some guests with expert opinions, expert knowledge and facts. And this is going to be very science-based. We're not just going to come on and talk a bunch of hype hoopla. It's going to be real. It's going to be practical. It's going to be based on reality of what things really are. So that's something I hope to do. And like I said, we're going to build the community of people who want to get better. We'll probably do some giveaways. We'll do some live, hopefully questions and call-ins and things like that I would like to see, and help people in real time. I don't want this to be anything that is predetermined and like have predetermined outcomes of things that we're going to say and do. And it's not going to be like that. There's a lot of that, and there's enough of that out there. This is going to be, how can everyone benefit in some way? Physical, mental. We're going to talk about how finances play a role in mental health and physical health and just overall well-being in general. So that's what I'm looking forward to here.
Yeah, I think there is a domino effect. Like when one of those pillars suffer, then all of a sudden it's easy to get in a hole of one.
You need every aspect of your life to work together. Because we all know, I mean, how many of us now that are listening, when you might have a great job or you might have a great relationship, and when one of those two things falls out of whack, it 100% impacts the other thing, right? You could make $1 million right now, and then you go home and your wife wants to leave you, and then the $1 million doesn't matter anymore, or the other way around. So it's like, how does everything impact the other thing, which impacts yourself? By the way, how do you deal with those things? That's not a pharmaceutical drug, or that's not jumping off a bridge, because we obviously don't want those things to happen, but we're in a world right now where those things are running rampant.
Yeah.
And a lot of people treat it with things that, one, don't actually really help, and two, is not going to actually cause the effect of solving the problem.
No.
You can't go to you can go to your therapist and they're going to give you drugs to figure it out most times, because a lot of times, frankly, people are too lazy to deal with the actual thing. It's like this. When I'm coaching people, right? And they're like, "Hey man, my hip hurts." You're going to go to a doctor if it's a 60-year-old and they're going to say you need a hip replacement. Well, what most people don't know is we're making like $2 billion a year from joint replacements. You don't need a joint replacement. You need to learn how to properly stand up and sit down and walk upstairs the right way. And by the way, you probably didn't do it for the first 60 years. So now it might be too late. But for the next 40 years, hopefully, of your life, we can teach you how to do it. So you don't need a joint replacement. And then it starts there. It starts at fundamentals. And then everything else is affected, right?
Yeah. Something you said to me right before we started this podcast, I shared that I was 22 pounds heavier than I've ever been in my life, right? And you said, congratulations, because I recognized the issue. And a lot of people always want the immediate result, right? You see a world where we could take a shot now and lose weight, things that nobody's really focused on that minor goal. And I think the one thing I've learned from our friendship in the past year, especially, is that you like to recognize when somebody recognizes something. So that shows the leadership and coaching that you're capable of.
Well, man, it's a mindset shift. It really is, because everyone has problems, and then everyone has the little thought in the back of their head, like, wow, maybe this is just what it is. Maybe I just can never lose weight. Maybe I can just never get stronger. Maybe I could just never play baseball. Maybe I could just never anything, right? And then they just sit on that, and that's what it is. And it's like, I don't understand how you could do that, because that'll translate to, wow, my kid is just messed up, man. It's like, okay, well, what are you going to do about that?
It's contagious.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you mean you don't know? That's your kid. You want it, right? And it's like, wow, my marriage sucks. Okay, what are you going to do about that? I don't know. Nothing. It's like, what are you talking about? And we all know people that have said this, right?
Yeah.
We're all thinking of people right now, and maybe you're thinking of yourself, and that's okay. Because, and I encourage that, by the way, because I think everyone can get better no matter what. Highest of highs, lowest of lows. Everybody can make adjustments to get better. And I really believe that. I mean, the biggest thing, you have to understand realistic goals and expectations of yourself and those around you, and not get too insane. Like you brought up the shot everyone is taking now to lose weight.
Yeah.
You can just go lose weight. Might take you a year or 2 years to lose 50 or 100 pounds. But the reason these shots work is because they work, and it takes no time, all right? The delayed gratification is gone. It's almost instant. And anyone who's successful in any field knows that it takes a long time. It's not instant. And that's the part that people don't want to work for. That's the part people don't want to go after, because it starts with self-belief. If you don't have that, you're not going to have any of these other things, because you don't believe in yourself. So how can we help you believe in yourself? Well, things like this, what we're trying to do here. And maybe there's an old saying sometimes, I think Les Brown, I don't know if you're familiar with Les Brown.
No.
I'm going to have to send you something. He's great. And I found all these type of guys when I was probably way too young. It makes no sense. But other people are looking at bad things when they're too young. I was looking at stuff like this. But he said, sometimes you have to believe in someone else's belief for you before your own kicks in. And that's it is. But if you look at like super successful people, or even on a lesser scale, to some component of their story, they have that. And now that I said that to you, you're going to start to realize that.
Yeah. I already.
So how can we do that for people here like this?
Yeah.
And it's like, if I've always said, if one thing that I say makes one person do something different that'll change their life, like that's why I do this. Let's relate it to sales for a minute. Okay. Because like if I'm selling a gym membership, which I've done a lot of, the person sitting across from me is in the gym and it's there for a reason. All right. And I actually love this because, dude, I was you remember Bally Total Fitness?
Yeah.
Okay. They did bad business things, but I was at like one of the last franchises. It was my first personal training job. It was in a mall. And it's like, dude, you can't like get a worse, like.
No, like that's so awkward. People are like
so awkward, right? But literally I would look at it and I was 18 years old. There was thousands. This is when malls were still popular. Thousands of people passing me every single day, like no exaggeration. So I was like, money, right? Help. They have to get in here though. So how could I make that exchange happen quicker? Well, I can't like give them a shot while they're walking past me. That'll make them lose 50 pounds. But this was also before all the shots. But it's like, how can I draw them in here and get them to put faith in me to make this result happen? So I also learned sales like super young. I was 18 and I was like, dude, this is the best thing ever, because I never looked at it as convincing someone to do something they didn't want to do. It was helping them make the decision to do what they do want to do and just don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of flack in the gym because they were like, dude, why are you spending so long with a prostitute? Dude, just let them go. If they say no, like there's a million people. I'm like, they don't mean no. They mean they don't know how. Mm-hmm. And I would sit with them and I had less clients than everybody else because I had a lot of clients at the time in that gym, but I had less because I cared about the person more than just the contract I was trying to get them to sign.
Right.
So I would spend longer with them. And my hour sessions sometimes they would go into the next and I would overload the sessions and then my boss would get pissed. But I'm like, dude, we just have to talk a little bit too. It's not just about rotating cattle, in the gym. But the point of that is they have to want to make the decision to change. Yeah. You've heard and you've seen in your life, you can't make someone change if they don't want to change. You can't, you're running a race, you're running a marathon. Not everyone's going to win the marathon, but you also can't drag the people you want to come with you because it's going to slow you down and you're going to lose and it's right. So if you can help them make the decision to do the actionable things that gets them the result to be able to keep up with you and keep up with the pace, that is the goal. So I learned that very young, and it's about emotion. It's these people feel like they can't. So how do we get them to feel like they can, right? And I learned that super young, and I kept that forever because it's true. You look at anything, it's true, right?
And that extra time you spent, I guarantee, changed those people's lives, whether it be maybe not in a fitness sense, but in a way that they understood ethic and work ethic and other things. And you're, like you said, it's not a transaction. You're actually helping change lives. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and that helps them decide every day. It's like, okay, I'm getting better. So what changes can I make now in my life, day in and day out, repeatedly, consistently, to get change and get better actions out of my life? Because that's the goal. You have to start brick by brick. Right? Because you can't, there's no machine that puts a house up in a day. So you have to lay the foundation, and hopefully it's the proper foundation. Because if it's not, well, then it crumbles at some point, right? Because it was built on nothing good. Like a lot of people can get, that's the other side of success. That gets the bad name, because you can build success like being a shitty person.
Right.
Like there are plenty of shitty, super successful people. Like you don't need to be this way to build success. And that's why people are like, I don't want to be like that because it has a bad connotation of somehow that person stole or snake oil salesman or did something wrong.
Right.
When in actuality, no. And I bring that up because you can be a shitty person, but still have foundations that create success, like daily habits, consistency over a long period of time. It almost doesn't matter. Like if you do these things, you're going to get there. Because we all, and I'm sure you, me to this day, I wake up and I'm not always motivated to work out. Most times I'm not motivated to go to the gym and like do all these things, but I built the foundation of it doesn't matter. You do it, and that's discipline. And you learn that over a long period of time. You build consistency, and that just becomes a part of you. That's the hardest part for people to get because they're so used to doing not that. But again, back to the point of you getting them to believe that they can, they need a coach sometimes. And if you're not, paying for coaching or you're not with somebody every day, you can come somewhere like this and learn how to do it, not only for free, but invest emotionally so that someday later, maybe you can financially invest in yourself, which is the most important investment you could ever make. All right, Powers, real quick, time to pay some bills.
Let's go.
You ever heard of Scrub Daddy?
I have.
Dude, I use Scrub Daddy legitimately, no joke, every single day in my house. I mean, we're always doing dishes. I eat a lot of food. This one, though, I'm excited to use because it comes with a cleaner.
Wow.
I didn't know that. I don't have this one, but I'm excited to check this out. It's got the hard side. It's got the soft side, kind of like me. I don't know about you, but I'm excited.
I'm mostly soft.
Well, we're going to get
We're working on that.
We're going to work on that. But no, these guys are awesome. I found them on Shark Tank.
Right.
Since then, I've bought them forever, like all the time. And they're absolutely phenomenal. They're coming out, I guess, with a Valentine's Day heart-shaped Scrub Mommy, I think.
Yeah.
I didn't know they had a Scrub Mommy.
They got a Scrub Mommy. I mean,
they got a Scrub Mommy.
Every daddy needs a mommy, right?
I guess so. We'll save this one for you. We'll save you the mommy. But no, they're awesome, and I appreciate them coming on Prestige Access. I really appreciate Scrub Daddy. It's an amazing product, and I think it's the biggest Shark Tank miss in history because they did not do a deal with Scrub Daddy, and they've obviously turned into a multiple billion-dollar company. And I think those sharks are kicking themselves.
Yeah. Well, Scrub Daddy's lucky to not miss on us, right? And be a part of this amazing journey on this podcast.
We're not going to miss on Scrub Daddy. Thank you, guys. And we'll get back to the show.
Cool.